Hi Geminis, welcome to your January 2019 Tarology 33 bonus love reading. This is just a reading that I'm doing for you guys since your December videos had the most likes, views, and new subscribers. And you may notice that this is a different deck than the one that I use for the normal readings, and also a different spread. So just to give you a quick rundown of what this is a variation of a past, present, future spread. And the way the cards are laid out, basically what this would be your past influence on the potential relationship, the other person's past influence, your present influence on the potential relationship, their present influence, and then this is the likely outcome for the relationship in the future. And then we also have an oracle card that we read at the end, similar to what we do with the regular readings, just to help tie everything together. And that's the same oracle deck we normally use for the normal readings, but this deck here, this is actually the Lover's Path Tarot. That's the name of this deck. Alright, so we'll go through the cards one by one and see what we have here. So in the position of your past influence on the potential relationship, we have the Prince of Coins. So this is actually the equivalent of the Knight of Pentacles, basically, from the regular tarot deck. And with this in the past position, this could just be saying that you might have made an offer, but it took you forever to do so, you know, just because the Knight of Pentacles is actually the slowest moving knight in the deck. So that could be what that energy is pointing to. And also just saying that, yeah, you might have offered some stability, but you were still a bit guarded, right? Because we always think of the knights, they always have their armor on, right? Which means that, all right, you know, yes, maybe you were trying to open up to the person, but you were still a little guarded about making the offer. I mean, obviously with this deck, the Prince, which represents the Knight for this deck, definitely doesn't seem nearly as guarded as they do in the traditional deck, but still get that vibe, right? That, you know, just looking at the trees around them, for example, looks like they start to die, basically, right? Like fall was coming, so I just said it took you a really long time to make the offer to the person. But again, you know, usually it is at least an offer of stability. You know, it is something that you probably gave quite a bit of thought to and did take seriously, but, you know, maybe it just took you a really long time to get there. And then their past influence on the potential relationship, we have Triumph. So this is the equivalent of the World card in the Major Arcana for the regular Rider-Waite deck that we usually use. So what this could be saying is, I view that as the North Node card. So for example, maybe they had something that they were working towards, you know, maybe they still had some karma to work through. For some of them, you know, maybe this is just on a more mundane level. Maybe they were doing a lot of traveling, right? So, you know, maybe this was someone you could have met on vacation, let's say, right? And they weren't from the same area as you. And, you know, maybe you guys kept in contact, but never really were able to get anything off the ground. Another pretty clear indicator here is also that they could have been involved in another connection. You know, and maybe that person was their world, quote unquote, if you ever hear someone say that, however cheesy it may sound when they talk about relationships that way. But, you know, maybe this person was very happy in another relationship, and it might even been that it took you so long to make that offer again that someone else swooped in during that time and actually, you know, they ended up getting in a relationship with that person instead of with you because you just took too long to make the offer. And, you know, but either way with the World, it could just be saying that there was some completion that needed to happen there. So, you know, maybe they just had some life lessons that they still needed to learn. That's certainly a possibility. But with the World card here, too, this could just be saying that they had the upper hand. You know, not that they were intentionally trying to have it, let's say, but let's say in the past they just had the advantageous position between the two of you. That's certainly a possibility. All right, and then in your present influence on the potential relationship, we had two cards come up, and we had the Princess of Staves, which is the equivalent of the Page of Wands in the regular deck. and the Six of Staves, which is the equivalent of the Six of Wands. So this could go a couple ways. One way that this could potentially be going is saying that you might make an offer to this person again, but this time you're a bit more passionate about it, right? As opposed to the Prince of Coins, which is, sure, it's a stable offer, but, might, again, take time to do so, right? They might take a while to get to that point where they make the offer, whereas the Princess of Staves or the Page of Wands, basically, would be more faster moving and more passionate about the offer. And then with the Six of Staves here, that's usually seen as a victory card in the regular Rider-Waite deck. So this could just be saying that, maybe you make the offer to the person again this time around, and this time you're actually successful. That could be what this is saying. But again, like I said, it could just be a shift, just pointing to a general energetic shift, where maybe you were looking for something more stable in the past, but now you're being a bit more playful with them, right, and actually taking action. Maybe this could have even just been you just thinking it over so much and never actually manifesting the offer to begin with. Like, maybe this person was completely oblivious that you like them because you never actually made the offer, But now you're like, all right, ready to take action in that regard. In their present influence on a potential relationship, we have the Ten of Staves. So, if we continue to use this as a continuation of the theme from the World card there, it could just be saying that they still have a lot on their plate. There could still be lessons that they're learning. But for others of you, what this could actually be saying now is now you guys are more on the same page as far as now you both have staves in this position, right, in the present position. So it could just be saying that you're both ready to take action. And what this could be saying, an alternate way that this could play out with them having the 10 staves, is saying, all right, well, now they're actually the one putting in the work. And maybe that's what makes you feel like the Six of Staves, like in that Six of Staves energy, right? Because in the past, it was you that was trying to make the offer, right? And now this time around, it's reciprocated on their end. They're the ones who are saying, all right, well, I'm going to put in the effort this time to make things happen between us. That would be pretty cool. Sometimes this can be seen as a burden as well. That's why I say maybe they just have a lot on their plate. Like, if we look at these cards, all the cards in the spread, this is the only one that doesn't have a person in it, right? So it could just be saying that they have so much other things going on right there now that they're not even thinking about relationships. They're just so focused on what they need to get done. And if that's the case, if we look at the outcome card, let me just point that out. Then we'll get back to what these two cards could be saying. It would just make more sense if I mentioned this part first, but the Three of Staves here. So this is the equivalent of the Three of Wands. And this is often referred to as the waiting for your ships to come in card. And some interesting things stuck out to me about this. First is looking at the woman in this card, right? It looks exactly like this woman from the Princess of Staves, right? I mean, look at the hat or whatever that is on her head, and then the shield. You see the red right there. It looks like the same person, basically. So, this could just be saying that that's what happens. Like, they have a lot on their plate, but maybe you come along to actually help them out with that, right? Because if we see, all right, they have 10 staves here. Now when we get to this, there's 3, right? So it's like you came along with that horse and actually helped them lighten their load, if you will. You know what I mean? That's the first term that came to my head when I looked at this. It was like, all right, it lightens their load. Or maybe by them making the offer to you, right? And then since we said, like, we have here that card, the Six of Staves, which could represent victory, that could just be saying that by them making the offer to them, it lightens their load, because maybe they have wanted to make the offer to you for a long time, right? But they weren't sure, would you still be open to it? You know what I mean? because they might have very well seen that, oh, this person had a thing for me back in the day, but I was with someone else, right? So that could be the way that that's playing out. And now they have that burden of wondering, maybe they see you like this, for example. Maybe they see you as the Six of Staves. Oh, this person's doing well, you know what I mean? I don't even know if they're into me anymore. And then they actually finally blurt out to you that they're into it as well. Now their load feels lightened, and then we see the two of you together in this card. So, but the only cautionary thing with this card, again, since it is the waiting for your ships to come in energy, is I would say just make sure that, you're not both waiting for the other to make a move, basically, right? That could be the only potential downside that I would see here. Because if they're feeling like, oh, they have a lot on their plate right now and they're not even really necessarily focused on relationships, and you're feeling like, that Six of Wands energy, feeling victorious, like, oh, I'm doing well now, they should see that and come to me, right? Then you could end up stuck where neither one of you ends up moving anything forward. But I will say, if we look at the bottom of the deck, we have the Tradition card, which is actually the equivalent of the Hierophant card in the regular Rider-Waite deck. So that's a card that points to obviously tradition, right? Just like this says, but commitment. So this could just become, this could turn into a serious relationship. The only question is, who's making that next move, right? So, and then we have the Princess of Cups at the bottom of the deck underneath that. So that's the Page of Cups energy. So just seems like all that's keeping you guys apart at this point is one or the other of you needs to make an offer, basically. It sounds like you guys would be open and receptive to it. It could just be that you're both in your own worlds, but the good thing is at least you guys both have staves in the present position and in the potential future position for the connection. So at least you have that going. Maybe it was that you guys weren't on the same page before. Now you guys are both operating on the same wavelength, and that's what's going to be what gets you to this point. So let's see what the Oracle card can add to that. The Oracle card you guys got was a leg up. There's the artwork for it, and the number there is 34, in case that has any significance for you. Let's see. All right. It says receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. So already with the receiving help, that makes me think of what I was saying there. Maybe if this person has a lot on their plate, right? Maybe they either reach out to you for help or you come in to help them, and maybe that's where you guys bond, right? Like, like I said, the lighten your load type energy, where okay, they have 10, now they're down to 3. And what's funny to me too, actually, if I think about it that way, is you have 6 there. The one that she's holding would be 7, 3, right? So you have 10 there. So basically, it's like combining the two, basically helping to lighten your load in that regard, or helping to lighten their load, I should say, in that regard. You've taken on 7, they have 3, right? Something along those lines. So just making it to where it's more manageable for both of you. The Oracle's message says you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So what's interesting to me there is, yes, these are your cards, technically your cards, and this is the other person's cards, but it's almost, to me, like it sounds like that particular message would speak more to this person, right? Like maybe it's saying that from their perspective, you could be the one who's willing to give them help, right? But maybe they need to just be open to receiving it. So again, like I said, but just because seeing the world card in the past, like I said, they might have had some big cycles that they were completing in their lives at the time, and maybe they're still carrying that on somewhat. And it's saying that, maybe you're in a position where you could help them, like, especially with that Six of Staves energy. So maybe it's saying, hey, if this person's around, they'd be willing to help you. And not to say that they would be using you or vice versa if the roles are truly reversed between the two of you. Just saying to, not be as stubborn and be more open and receptive. All right, and the relationship message itself says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust. You will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So it's interesting to me because it's like, to me, this Oracle card definitely speaks to the spread fairly well, but it definitely sounds like those messages are more for this person, which is funny, you know what I mean? So I don't know if this does resonate for your life. Hopefully, the cross watchers watch this reading, right? Because that definitely sounds like it's speaking to them. But yeah, that's the general vibe I'm getting. Like I said, guys, you have the Hierophant card at the bottom of the deck, and then you have the Princess of Cups underneath that, which is the Page of Cups. So it definitely seems like there's love there, you know what I mean? But could just be a matter of maybe you're both prideful, right? And neither one of you, like, you might both know that you'd be better off together, right? But for whatever reason, maybe, and this could be like, you putting on a front, right? Like, oh, I'm good, you know what I mean? I got the Six of Wands energy. Look at me, I'm doing so well, and then they're trying to just keep themselves busy with everything else, right? Rather than face the fact that, hey, maybe we would be better off together, and then finally you guys just pull your heads out of your asses and make it happen. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I'm getting, but that's all I have for you guys for this month, and I'll see you guys next month in regular reading, alright? Bye.